You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about being driven in life. That is right. You are the driver in the car. Woo-wee, put the top down, right? This is your opportunity to look at where you want your life to go, and knowing that you're the driver, let's steer it in the direction that's going to get you out there living your life full out in a big way. Again, we will be taking your calls, 800-333-0001. And make sure you stay with us because, oh my gosh, the next inspirational guest we have today, Sheila Mac, she is not only a driver, she's the passenger. She's cruising on top, dancing around. She is a full throttle woman. But she had a lot of tough breaks throughout. But what I love about her story is how creative she got. When she got blocked, she went another direction. And she worked hard. She, sweat, labor, you name it. But she was also innovative and very curious of how to get to where she wanted to go. So I just can't wait to share her story with you. So stay with us there. And, if you want to hear today's show again, we always want to make sure that you're supported. So feel free to go to livingfullout.com. All of our episodes are there by different show themes. So you can pick the one that resonates with what you're going through most. Or if you have Alexa or if you're in the App Store, just look for Living Full Out Radio. And again, you can hear us 24/7. Okay. But I share all that with you because I know on certain days, we got that swagger, we got that excitement, things are going well, and that's when we're driving, right? But then there's disappointments. There's the days that we make a mistake or we procrastinate or we self-sabotage ourselves in other ways. And then we're not only the passenger, but we feel like sometimes we're in the trunk, right? Or we're pushing the car. And what we want to do is try our best to not get you to that point where you're the one pushing the car. You want to be in a place where you can plan enough so you can implement strategies, so you can be excitement, for what is coming in your life. But you also want to be fluid enough, flexible, versatile enough that when the unexpecteds come your way, you're not thrown off. You can just manhandle them, right? You can just power through it. Now, that's not always easy, especially on our own, because I know I'm oftentimes at a crossword where I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? That is when I turn to my friends and family. And I know there's certain people I'll go to for certain topics. Of course, that is why we are here, to help give you that support. Now, I'm going to go to the phone lines. I hear from our producer. We have someone on the line. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show. Hi, thank you for calling. Hi, how can I help you?
Hello, this is Rebecca. I do have a question.
Yes.
So I do have a really good job and stable job, but I don't think I really enjoy working here. So I'm just wondering, should I start looking for another job or kind of need to relax a little bit and kind of wait for another good opportunity to come?
Well, how long have you been in your current job?
So about 2 years now.
Okay. Now, the reason why I asked that question is if you had told me 2 days or 2 months, I would have said, well, let's give it more time. But after 2 years, you know if you want to be somewhere or not. And what is the number one thing that makes you just not want to go to work?
So when I interviewed there, they kind of told me this is what they're going to do. But when I actually went the job, that was not kind of thing that on there. So I kind of work on the different subject that I was not intended to do it. So.
Okay. Now, the reason why I asked that question to you is, that's a good example, whether it be career or if it was a relationship, right? If someone said that they were 30 years old, yet they were actually 50, right? Okay. When you're given misinformation, whether it's a job description, whether it's an age, whatever it is, right? Then that's not what you signed up for. That may not even be what your skill set is for, right? Mm-hmm. So that is a reasonable answer for why you should be able to quit, transition. Now, let's go back to that word quit. You're actually not a quitter. I can tell in your voice that the reason why you're debating this is because you're not a quitter. You're a fighter. You dig in, right? You see things through.
Right.
Right? That's who you are. And I love that. That's so living full out. But at the same time, and this is just a fact, we have no guarantee of the future. We have no guarantee that we're all going to live to be 100. I could walk outside tomorrow and get hit by a car. I hope not, but I could, right? So you want to maximize the here and the now. And when we talk about living full out, that is true in every aspect of your life. If you're in a relationship that is not satisfying you, or you're being abused or put down or picked at, that might be one to let go. But the same goes for a career. If you were told misinformation and you're doing something different, if you're not supported, if you've given it 2 years and you still feel the same way, then that's a thumbs up. That is an okay, a green light that you can transition. You tried, you gave it your all. So let's talk about the new job, right? You don't want your future employers to pay for the mistakes of your past employer. And that goes true for relationships, right? If you have a bum relationship where someone didn't treat you good, you don't want your future partner paying the price, right? So you have to make sure that you go into that next interview not jaded, not worried. Go into that confident. Read their website, look them up, look at the pros, look at the cons, go to Yelp, go to LinkedIn, go to Indeed, whatever. Find out as much as you can. Even find out who the person is that's going to interview you. Look them up on LinkedIn. Look to see what you can find out about them. And see if that company is in line with who you are as a person and the mission aligns with, what you want to do for a career. Now, you don't want to show the card, again, that you were bummed in your previous job. So you got to ask the right questions. So tell me a bit more about the description of this position. Okay, let them tell you what it is. Okay, how do you see it within the next 6 months, my position going, my position growing? Let them tell you. First month might be like this. The first 3 months are going to be training. Kind of have them hold to their word a bit. Talk out just the first 6 months. And then see if in the first 6 months they do just that. Or again, if it goes sideways, now you don't have to wait 2 years. Now at 6 months, that's kind of your moment to say, did they walk the walk and talk the talk? Or did they do what the last place did? Do you see that? Mm-hmm. But you have to be the one to ask the right questions. You have to be the one to say, give me the lay of the land of what my average day might look like. What do you see this position being in the next 3 to 6 months? Kind of let them talk it out with you in detail. So if it does tend to become something different than you signed up for, then you can go back to that person and say, hey, you know what? I really love this company. I really appreciated the interview, but you said to me that it was going to kind of go this way and it kind of went a different way. It gives you something to go back for. Now, they might pleasantly surprise you, right? They might promote you after 1 month. You're so good at what you do, we're giving you a new title. Who knows, right? It might go beyond your expectations. But you got to do the work in the beginning to really research the company, the person interviewing, and make the most of that interview as to what you're going to be doing. Can you try that?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Thank you.
You know what? I think you're going to be just fine. But honestly, there's so many good jobs out there. Life is too short. If you're unhappy, the last thing you want to do is get out of bed every morning and be like, ugh, not again, right? So let's turn a new page. Let's get you out of that rut. Go on today, go to Indeed, go wherever, look in the paper, whatever, go online. Let's find you a new job that has you be happy. Okay? Thank you very much for calling in. And for everybody listening, we're coming right back with Sheila Mac. Again, it's such an inspirational story. And boy, she is all about being driven, living life full out. That is what we're talking about today. She can, I do, you can too. And if there are things in your path that are just kind of soaking up space and kind of distracting you, let's clear the deck. Let's get those out of your world today so that you can thrive. Be on point, be focused, and live your life full out. I'll be right back. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
I'm Nancy Solari, Certified Life and Business Coach. I want to invite you to the Personal Development Boot Camp. During the boot camp, we're going to be looking at taking those insecurities that you have and getting rid of them. We're also going to look at ways in which you can thrive and live a life full of purpose. Go to livingfullout.com/bootcamp, livingfullout.com/bootcamp to sign up. I believe in you, and here's to you living your life full out.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar. I was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road. It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
The cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being driven in life and what causes us to be able to go into overdrive, into a place where we have to run fast. Well, our inspirational guest today, Sheila Mac, has really gone through it since like the age of 3 is really when it all began. And I can't even tease you with her story because there's so much to it, but I will tell you what, put on your seatbelts because you're going for a ride. So I'd very much like to welcome Sheila to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show today, Nancy. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. Okay, my seatbelt is on. I'm ready to go. Okay, but I have to say, what I find so interesting about your story is, the fact that, your parents couldn't take care of you. So you were kind of shuffled around between grandparents and aunts and uncles and all these, different family members. But really early on, from like age 3 to 5, you had really strict grandparents that in one way limited your ability by making you wear literally one outfit all the time. I mean, not letting you flourish at all and play. But then they kind of introduced you to the world of business by helping out at their manufacturing company. What was that dynamic like?
So my grandparents that I was staying with at that time had a clothing manufacturing company. So they made swimsuits and bras. And so I would go in as this little girl at 3 years old and 2.5, 3, something like that, up to 5. And I would go in every day and they would give me little patterns to cut because people were cutting patterns and sewing. And there was about 200 employees there. And they had this loudspeaker, so they'd have me make the little, break time announcements and everything else. So work was fun. Everybody loved me. I was the only child around. And they had put me in these cute little beauty contests that you have kids do. And so then they had me selling, the beauty contest, they make the people sell candies. And so they'd have me selling chocolate bars. And I just thought I was the best salesperson, I guess, because everybody worked for my grandparents. And so they all bought chocolate bars from me during the breaks. And that was I didn't really play. I just worked. And
And you did so well that in kindergarten, you even went up to your teacher and sold her a bra.
That's right.
You had those skills early. But, the other thing that happened during that time was you were hanging out with these grandparents, these elders, and they were telling you stories that really set the foundation for your entire life and being driven in life. What did they share with you?
Well, it was kind of such a beautiful sacred circle of friends. It was my grandmother and all these other women that were in her age group. So they were, I would guesstimate, probably in their 70s or close to 80s. And they, in Los Angeles, California area, in the foothills, there was so many different people from all over the world that come to California, to Los Angeles. So I had a lady that had been through a concentration camp and lost her parents and her sibling all at the same time, and was managed to escape with someone else somehow or something and build a beautiful life for herself. Another lady, she lost her husband quite early on, and they had started a Greek restaurant. And everybody frowned on her for continuing because this was a while, giving my age away, it was quite a while ago. And so back in those days, it was still kind of frowned upon for a woman to run a business. And she ended up having a chain of these Greek restaurants, and they became very well known and famous in Los Angeles. And another lady.
So I'm curious, Sheila. So all in all, they kind of, again, seeded that potential that you could have, as a child growing up into a woman that was kind of like the positive of the beginning of your life. But what I'm curious about is if we heard your story just in that, capsule, you would think, oh my gosh, her life is going to be amazing. But it took a very right turn when around 10, abuse of the home you were living in then with a different, with grandparents.
Yeah.
You were being abused so much. They were killing animals. It was just really chaotic that you found yourself living in a shed outside. And then your mom was basically urging you to run away. How do you go from one beginning to the next?
Because my parents weren't able to really care for me, they'd end up with one set of grandparents or the other or aunt or uncle or whoever. And so it just seemed that when you're little, you don't think about it. You just do whatever. You're not even aware of what's going on that much. At a certain point, you start to figure things out. And I actually had asked to move into that shed because there was so much violence in the house. And I had this great book, Think and Grow Rich, that I bought at a garage sale at 8. And so I had that book. I was trying to grow rich enough to buy a place for my mother and I to live so I wouldn't have to be in all that abuse. And I said, hey, I just want to live out here in this shed and make it like a playhouse. And I just stayed away from the violence. So,
now,
who knows?
Now, you actually did hear your mom's words. I mean, you did realize it was escalating, and you did run. And at 10 years old, you journeyed out there into the dark, defending yourself, walking the streets of Hollywood, hanging out with people, sleeping on friends' couches, trying to get good grades. But even that was tricky just because you didn't have a role model. Yeah. What was that time like?
Because of those women, going back to hearing their stories, I knew that life has ups and downs and waves. Nobody in that circle of friends did not have a story, right? And so I thought, okay, this is my adventure. This is my story. And I was very curious to get to know how other people live, to learn about different environments. And so, I spent the night at the Troubadour on the benches because one of my older friends was dating somebody there that let me stay and sleep there a few times. And I learned how to make friends with all the different kids. They were slightly older than me, some of them, but just so I'd have a place to live, it forced me to be very social and very able to connect with people because I wanted to learn about them and say, well, what's your home life like? That's not all the same.
Well, and you were actually able to make some money during that time working for an organization and selling more candies. You're quite the candy seller.
Yes.
But Sheila, I want you to stay with us because, obviously that kind of shows our audience what you are dealing with in terms of the early years. But it's the impressionable teenage years where Sheila really had to figure out how she was going to do this on her own. She couldn't rely on that family. And so stay with us today. It's all about being driven in life. And, what inner qualities do we need to find within ourselves to give us that extra oomph on those really hard days, to give us that direction? So we want to make sure that you get the resources today that you need to soar, to thrive in life, and be able to live your life full out. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Sheila Mac. I'm Nancy Solari. It's the Living Full Out Show. We'll be back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being driven. And we have a very special inspirational guest today, Sheila Mac. And there is so much to get to in her story about how she's been really driven in life to succeed. And I'd like to welcome her back to the show.
Thank you. Great to be back.
Nice to be with you. And I mean, again, my seatbelt is still on. I'm still with you. But I know that you did your best, right, in those, 10, 11, 12 years, fending for yourself. You kind of had to transition through a couple of different schools, kind of getting in trouble here and there. And you had no parents. You didn't have the grandparents. You didn't have a home to go home to. However, you did get the tip from a family who was actually in their own abusive environment, but you got the tip about social services and the foster system. And oh my gosh, what is that? Like, what would that lead to? And you were told that you needed to either be arrested or turn yourself in as a runaway in order to go, be admitted into the foster system. Which option did you go with and why?
Well, I tried to get arrested. It was so cute. I went to this liquor store that, and I was like, I'm going to steal some candy. I'm going to steal a soda, whatever. And the guy was like, honey, you just need to go home. Maybe you're having a bad day. And I was like, come on, just call the police on me, because I was afraid the kids in juvenile hall or wherever they were going to send me, if you just go in for no reason, they're going to not be as friendly to you, I guess. And the man would not. I mean, I was trying to take everything, and he was like, just go home, honey. And I was like, I've never seen anything like this. And I was so upset. So the next day I did go and turn myself in as a runaway. And I thought, I haven't done anything wrong. I don't know.
Well, and you did turn yourself into as a runaway. And, even that came with its different twists and turns. But you did ultimately navigate your way to a girl's home, which actually was a game changer for you, because it did get you off the streets. It did put you at a safe place, a place where you could still work, go to school. But it was during that time that you met a couple that changed your life. Who were they?
Yes. So the first week I was I was actually at David and Margaret Girls Home in Laverne. And the first week I was there, this couple purchased the old orphanage at the placement center, and they were going to make it into an art gallery. So I went and knocked on the door, and I said, hi, I'm Sheila, and I want to be your personal assistant. And they hired me on the spot. Now, Michael Whipple. He had art in Carter's White House. He did the Never-Ending Story, The Dragon, and a lot of other art. So he was a pretty well-known artist at the time. And then his wife was Pamela Whipple Weston. So she was part of that family, and so she built the hotels, and she did architecture. So I got to help them and learn to do events and fundraisers they would have, and gallery showings at the art gallery, and we would go out and do other events about their work. And I had this opportunity to see the different life of being able to contribute and work and kind of be an apprentice to these incredible people. And then I would go back to the girls' home, and the kids were, doing teenage things and, getting into trouble sometimes. And I said, hey, you know what? I like that other road better.
Yeah.
And
I'm so glad that you got introduced to that other road, because you had seen nothing but abuse and homelessness and all that prior to. Now, sadly, we can't get too comfortable in life, right? Because in a snap, it's going to change again. And sadly, that couple ended up getting divorced. And you were once again kind of in flux of, what am I going to do now? But you'd kind of had the bite of the apple of knowing what success could be, and confidence. And so you were dedicated to go be a star. So you journeyed into an agency, and as luck should have it, they were doing auditions for a Dove commercial, but you were not their average candidate, right? You didn't have a profile, you didn't have all these things, but actually it went well for you until it didn't. What was the twist?
So the twist was my grandparents were the legal guardians still, and they refused. I had to have paperwork. I had to give it to the probation officer. Everybody in placement has a probation officer, and my grandparents refused to sign. They hadn't visit me or do anything. They didn't, really care or weren't attached, but they refused to sign that paper because they said I would get into trouble with all that money I would make. I mean, I don't think they even pay you that much for commercials. But, that was it. And so that was the twist that made me decide I was just going to emancipate so that I could sign my own papers.
Well, and emancipation, right? A good option, right? You've already come so far on your own. You'd made a lot of money on your own, and why not, cut the tie. But even that is not easy. You were given another choice, 2 undesirable choices. What were they, and what did you go with?
Well, they said, if you're going to emancipate, we're going to have to move you to a different placement, and we will either put you at juvenile hall or camp. And I said, well, camp sounds nice, but it was not that kind of camp. It wasn't a fun, friendly camp for sweet people. It was a camp for kids that mostly had done damage to other people. Maybe they killed somebody, took someone's eye out. You know, they were a little bit on the hardcore side. And that was a whole different experience.
Now, the interesting thing is, here was a really good kid. You were a good kid, and you were put in this bad environment. But once again, I guess you're getting to know another tribe of people and their stories. You're big on getting to know people's stories. And you were finally able to emancipate yourself. But, you know, life again gave you another scoop, right? Because it wasn't done with you yet. You ended up getting pregnant. And I know that at 17, that's big for anybody. You know, I mean, as on top of it as you were with taking care of yourself, that's a game changer because now it's you and someone else. And life was not easy. You were struggling, and Grandma found you and knocked on your door and made you a proposition. What was that?
Yes, so Grandpa had fallen sick, and so she needed help with caring for him, and she said, all right, if you come over, I'll let you help me manage properties and help me take care of Grandpa. And so I was like, well, you've never said hello since, but I felt that it was the right thing to go do that and help out and take care of Grandpa, and then also to help Grandma out and not hold the past against them, or, you know, like everybody's got their things, and I wasn't about that. So I felt it was morally right on my compass to go do that obligation, I guess. And it also, I wanted to move over because I had this baby, and the stipulation was, if you are pregnant, you must marry this man, or else I'm not going to help you and you can't help me. And I thought, well, that's such a better opportunity for this unborn child. So I agreed to get married. And it was under that stipulation that I was able to move to a little bit nicer community and a little safer and all that.
And I know that relationship over time had its highs and lows, but you know, Sheila had to figure out, okay, I'm in this marriage, I have a baby, and I still want to be successful. And you had gone through and kind of sold a lot of things that, you know, picked up goodies at garage sales and swap meets and all of that. But you were bound and determined to buy a triplex, which you finally did. It was old and rickety and needed a lot of work, but you did it, you know, sweat equity, as you would say. But you also got very creative in creating a gift shop. What was the parameter of that?
Well, with that, I had worked at JPL as a programmer, buying and selling on the side. So that was, I guess, what they call the side hustle now. And I was earning more money buying and selling and negotiating deals than I was working for the government, believe it or not, programming. And I didn't really love programming. It wasn't my favorite thing. So it kind of worked out. And there was this one building in town in Montrose, California, that was vacant. It used to be a JCPenney's years ago. So it was a huge 5,000 square foot building. And it had been vacant for a good 6 years. So I negotiated to have 6 months free rent. And I would open the store, and I took all my savings from my little triplex. I was finally starting to cash flow and make money, and then the savings from my job, and I invested in starting up a gift store.
And the gift store, it did really, really well. I mean, you were able to grow it and grow it and grow it. And I think the reason why that's an important thing to touch on is all those skills of who you had been, you know, that 3-year-old to the 10-year-old, surviving, you know, to emancipating yourself. You know, all of those survival skills, getting creative, getting resourceful, allowed you to claw your way back to that success. And, you know, everybody listening, you would think her story stops there. I mean, I could literally have a 2-hour show with Sheila because you went on to do a lot of other things that were heartbreaking. Losing your home in a fire, you know, losing a child. And I really admire how you live full out in life and how you are driven. And, just one final sentence of wisdom to our audience. What would you say?
Don't give up. Remember that in all you're doing, it's who you're being. How you show up is going to make all the difference on your success.
You know what? Great words of wisdom. And Sheila, thank you so much for being on today's show. And we will be looking out for the next chapter of your life. I'm going to keep my seatbelt on when it comes to you. But thank you so much, Sheila, for being on the show. And for everybody listening, if you have a story like her that's inspiring, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. Make sure to give us your name, your contact info, what you went through, how you grew, and perhaps we can have you on the show as a guest. We're going to be coming right back. Today, it's all about being driven in life and getting that bite of the apple and living life full out. I'm Nancy Solari. We'll be back.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When it comes to being driven in life, you always want to remember your why. Why are you working? What is it for? The time you spend, the people you meet. It all leads to that grand journey called life. And you know what? Whenever you have self-doubt, always tell those doubts to go away, because you're driving, you're going places, you're living full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we've been talking about being driven in life. And I know for some of you, you're going to say, Nancy, that's all good and fine, but honestly, I hate my job. I feel as though life is running past me, and I haven't done in life what I set out to do. But I want you to always understand, it is not too late. I want you to figure out that why. Figure out, what it is that you want most in life. And to connect the dots, it may be time. You might need more time. You might need to work 2 jobs to get what you want. You might need to make more money. You might need to enroll people that can help you along the way. At Living Full Out, trust me, I might have the vision and, my ideas for where the company's going to go, but many, many people are my eyes and my arms and my legs. This is a super team environment. And so you want to build your own team. What does that look like? When you have the right pieces in place, now the car's got 4 solid wheels, right? Now you've got gas in the car because your energy and your enthusiasm and your confidence is up. And that is how you will drive right to where you want to go. And I realize, again, it's not a snap, right? So I want you to make sure that you reach out to us at Living Full Out. Again, you can always reach us at connect@livingfullout.com and share with us what you're going through and let us help give you those resources. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. Let's go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, my name's Sarah, and I just have a question.
Yeah, Sarah, what's going on?
So I'm a college student, and being social on campus is really important to me. But with COVID-19, all of my classes and clubs have been moved online. And I was just wondering what I could do to stay social in a socially distant world right now.
That is such a great question, right? Because how do you connect with people in a meaningful way? How do you stay memorable if there's a lot of people on the call, right? It's not like you can buzz around a room and give people hugs and high fives. What you want to consider are these groups, okay? So let's say it's a group for school. And if in any way, beyond the call, beyond the class, beyond the study groups, you can get people's emails or phone numbers, then maybe socially you start to develop relationships with them outside the call, outside of that one social moment. And it could just be that once a week you send an inspirational quote of the day or of the week, right, by text or email. If the obviously the group gives you permission to do that. Sometimes they don't. The other thing you want to consider is when you're on the group, express to them, hey, everyone, I'm super interested in, getting to know each of you, and volunteer your phone number, volunteer your email. Say, hey, I'd really much like to inspire each other to, go after our goals. And if you want an accountability partner or, by chance, if you want to kind of get to know each other better and do a little coffee online, I'm up for it. You just have to put yourself out there online almost like you would otherwise. Emojis, little quirky things, sounds. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just about getting creative.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think honestly, the one thing about this time is we always had that body language, right? We always had the ability to nudge our way in to say hi to someone. But now you got to find your voice. You got to get creative. And so that's why I think if you try those techniques, that will help. And also, maybe advance yourself even beyond school groups, like meetup.com. That's a site that I've used before to meet people, and that's online. And it's actually coming back little by little in person. There's definitely groups on Facebook and other online platforms. Just give them the best of you. It's like a social blitz. And then when all of this passes, oh my gosh, you're going to have so many friends, you're not going to know what to do with. All right?
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for calling in. Have a great day. And for everybody, thank you. And for everybody listening, it is all about driving in life, right? I love that she called in and had that question. She's being intentional with her time. She wants to be memorable. She wants to really maximize this life experience, and you can too. So make sure that if you need support on this topic, reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. We want to make sure that you get the support to really have excitement for life. Don't forget to smile. Smile is not underrated. I'm telling you, people, if you smile, it does shift your mood up. You will just feel better. Go out there, make sure you walk around, get that energy, those endorphins going, right? You'll be happy that way too, because a driver in life needs that juice. You need that gas, that energy. That might come from sleep, that might come from people, that might come from resources. And of course, we are always here for you. The entire Living Full Out family thanks you for listening. Most of all, go out there, get that goal, get that ambition, get that dream that you have. Live your life full out. And so if you need more support, make sure you go to livingfullout.com, check us out on social media. Until we see each other again, here's to you living full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.